Amara Thompson lingered at the rear of the quaint ivory chapel, grasping her 5-year-old daughter Lila's hand. The late afternoon light streamed through vibrant stained glass, painting vivid patterns across the polished wooden floor. Beyond the oak trees, branches danced softly in the warm summer wind, their leaves murmuring secrets only the earth could grasp. "Mommy, why are folks staring at us?" Lila whispered, her golden curls swaying as she fidgeted in her finest Sunday frock. Amara gazed down at her daughter with a tender smile, though her heart throbbed with pain. "Just stay near me, darling," she said. It had been 3 years since Amara last stepped into Pinewood Community Church, 3 years since that heart-wrenching Sunday when Pastor Jenkins had asked her to depart, hinting her circumstances might unsettle other worshipers. Amara, 7 months pregnant and deserted by Lila's father, had left with her chin raised, though tears cascaded down her cheeks once she reached her vehicle. Today marked Clara Bennett's wedding day. Clara, Amara's childhood companion, was one of the few who'd kept in contact after the church shunned her. The invitation arrived out of the blue, with a handwritten note. "It wouldn't be my joyful day without you. Please attend." Amara wouldn't have come without that heartfelt request. Now, standing at the chapel's edge as guests trickled in, she felt the sting of critical glances and hushed remarks. "There's that Thompson woman, bringing her child to such an event. Some folks lack all sense of decorum." Pastor Jenkins appeared from a side entrance, his eyes widening briefly upon seeing Amara. He paused, then strode to the front, ignoring her presence. "Amara, is that you?" A warm voice from behind spun her around. There stood James Carter, clad in a finely tailored suit that couldn't mask his modest roots. They'd been high school classmates before James left for university, and built a property empire in the city, a local hero who occasionally returned to support the town. That shaped him, James. Amara smiled, genuinely delighted to see. "A kind face. It's been ages, far too long," he replied, kneeling to Lila's level. "And who's this lovely young lady?" "I'm Lila," the girl said shyly. "I'm 5 3/4. "Well, Lila, that's quite a splendid age," James answered with a gentle grin. "I'm James. Your mom and I used to scale apple trees together when we were barely taller than you." Lila giggled, instantly enchanted. The church bells rang, signaling it was time to sit for the ceremony. "We should probably go," Amara said softly. "We'll just take a seat in the back." James frowned. "Nonsense. Clara's your friend. You deserve a place with the other guests." As they moved toward the pews, Mrs. Harper, the church secretary and self-proclaimed keeper of Pinewood's moral code, stepped forward. "Amara," she said, her voice sharp, "perhaps it'd be better if you waited outside. This is a holy event, and we wouldn't want any disruptions." Amara's cheeks flushed. Lila pressed closer, sensing her mother's unease. Before Amara could reply, James stepped in, his face calm but his gaze firm. "Mrs. Harper," he said courteously, "I believe a church's purpose is to embrace all, not push them away. Amara and Lila are my guests today." The secretary faltered. James Carter had recently funded the church's new outreach hub, a project that had revitalized their community efforts. "Of course, Mr. Carter," she said at last. "I was only suggesting. Thank you for your concern." James cut in smoothly. "Now, if you'll excuse us." He led Amara and Lila to a pew near the center, ignoring the stares that trailed them. As they settled, Lila looked up at her mother with relief. "He's kind," she whispered. "Yes," Amara agreed, watching James nod politely to those nearby. "He always was." The wedding was breathtaking. Clara glowed as she glided down the aisle, her face beaming with a heartfelt smile when she saw Amara. For a moment, Amara forgot the unease of returning to a place that had once been her haven. Then her heartbreak at the reception on the church lawn. Amara kept to herself, watching Lila play with other children who, thankfully, knew nothing of grown-up biases. "Not fond of the punch?" James asked, appearing beside her with 2 plates of wedding cake. Amara took the offered treat with a thankful smile. "I was thinking of leaving soon. We've stayed long enough to see Clara wed." "Because of how some folks are treating you." James's candor was refreshing. Small towns hold tight to old memories. Amara sighed. I made peace with it years ago, have you? It feels like you're still letting them judge you for something that never should have been deemed wrong. Amara looked at him, surprised. What? You think I've gone to city in my views? James chuckled. Maybe I have, but I'd say I've just gained some clarity. Lila ran up, breathless with excitement. Mom, they're tossing the flowers. The bouquet, Amara corrected with a smile. Go watch. Sweetie, I'll be right here. As Lila dashed back to the children, James leaned closer. I heard about what happened, Amara. I was abroad when Pastor Jenkins asked you to leave the church. By the time I learned, you'd moved to the town's edge and kept to yourself. Amara stared at her cake. It was a tough time. I can imagine, James said gently. Raising a child alone isn't simple. You've done an amazing job with Lila. Thank you, Amara whispered, unexpected tears stinging her eyes. It had been so long since anyone had praised her efforts rather than her situation. Across the lawn, Pastor Jenkins watched them, his expression unreadable. After a pause, he approached. Amara, he said, nodding politely. It's good to see you again, Pastor, she replied, her voice steady despite her racing heart. James, the pastor continued, I hear congratulations are due for your new community foundation. Thank you, James replied. We're hoping to change lives nationwide. A worthy aim. Pastor Jenkins agreed. He cleared his throat. We're planning a committee meeting next week to explore how the church can collaborate with local groups to better support families in need. Amara, with your work at the children's library, your insights would be valuable. Amara stared, stunned. You want me to join a church committee meeting? The pastor looked uneasy. Times change, Amara. Perhaps the church hasn't always been as open as it should be. James smiled. What a fine idea, Pastor. In fact, I was considering funding an after-school program. Amara's expertise would be essential later. As the reception quieted and lanterns glowed against the evening dusk, James helped Amara gather Lila's sweater and the wedding favors the sleepy child had collected. Thank you, Amara said softly, for standing up for us today. I didn't do anything remarkable. James insisted. Sometimes people just need a nudge to remember what truly matters. Lila yawned, leaning against her mother's side. Can Mr. James visit our house sometime? I want to show him my books. Amara looked at James, uncertain. I'd be delighted, he said, his eyes warm with sincerity. Perhaps I could take you both to dinner first. There's a new place in town I've been eager to try, under the soft glow of twilight. With her daughter's hand in hers and facing a man who saw her value without judgment, Amara felt something she hadn't known in years, the gentle blossoming of hope. We'd enjoy that, she said simply, as they walked toward the parking lot. Amara glanced back at the ivory chapel where she'd once found, then lost, community. The steeple shone silver in the moonlight, and somewhere far off, a whippoorwill sang to the evening stars. Second chances, Amara mused, sometimes came in surprising forms through old friends, new beginnings, and the courage to step back through doors once shut. And sometimes, the path home was worth every challenging step along the way.